Chelsea 3, Crystal Palace 1, and that is more like it. We're back, baby! Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And today, Goose Fraber, we get to talk about a wicked win in the Premier League against, I'm not going to lie to you, a team I thought was going to be a bit less of a struggle, bearing in mind everything that's been going on with them at the moment, but ultimately a difficult Crystal Palace team, one that has had a good season, albeit lots of stuff going on with them at the moment, and we got the win in excellent fashion. But guys, before we get into it, if you are enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so Chelsea 3, Crystal Palace 1. So first out of the bat, as I sort of mentioned a little bit in the intro, Crystal Palace played really well today, man. I was expecting they're on horrible form. Do you know what I mean? Their form has been absolutely dire. And things, the misery has just been compounding for Crystal Palace fans with obviously Mark Guehi going to Man City, Glasner coming out and being like, yeah, I'm off, see you later. And obviously constant talk at the moment about Jean-Philippe Mateta potentially on his way to Juventus, or even, interestingly, Nottingham Forest are making a big push for him at the moment. So I expected this game maybe to be a little bit easier than it was, and in the first half they played really, really well, and at the very end, in the last 10-15 minutes of the game, they also played very well. So although they managed to ultimately bookend this game with good performances at the start and at the end, they couldn't keep it up in the middle, and Chelsea smashed it. Now we're going to take a little look at the lineup, and it's largely what you would have expected. I know there's a lot of questions about Cole Palmer at the moment, and you know, it's a difficult one, isn't it? We'd love to see him play, but if he is still struggling or he's been ill or whatever, do you know what I mean? It's fine. At the end of the day, we are getting these wins as we did, in the early part of the season where we were doing well without Cole Palmer in the team. And what we need is for him to come back into a team that's playing well. Hopefully that's starting to happen now. So the lineup was kind of as you'd expect. Rob Sanchez in goal, who had a really good game, although one crazy moment where he nearly stepped outside of his box for holding the ball. But, that was a whole crazy moment. Reece James at right back. Trevor Chalobah and Benoit Badiashile again comes in the centre-back pairing. Marco Correa at left back. Midfield pivot of Moises Caicedo and Andre Santos. Centre attack, Enzo Fernandez. Left wing, Pedro Neto. Right wing, Estevao Willian. And Joao Pedro up top, man. And look, you can just kind of see it from the ratings. These are the SofaScore ratings for the players. Lots of green, much more green than we've been used to seeing recently. And only it was kind of a poor performance from Pedro Neto, I guess. That's juxtaposed against everyone else doing so well. Maybe we could have got a little bit more out of him, but it was what it was, and ultimately he did contribute to the game. We'll take just a little look at the subs. Wesley Fofana came on for Caicedo. Malo Gusto came on for Pedro Neto. That was a bit of a weird one. I wasn't really sure what was going on with Malo Gusto at the end of the game. Jamie Gittins also came on for Estevao. Yoro Hato came in for Reece James at 80 minutes, and Liam Delap at 85 minutes came on for Joao Pedro. And again, nothing spectacular from any of the subs, but it's just one of those, isn't it? Like when you're 3-0 up, 3-1 up, which it eventually led to be, it's a good time to give your other players some minutes, especially as there's probably going to be more rotation in the coming weeks. So let's talk about the goals. Estevao Willian opened the scoring with something I just feel like I haven't seen in the longest time from a Chelsea player. So basically it was all happening in our half. Crystal Palace were pushing up really high. A mistake was made. I can't remember exactly who made it. It was one of the Crystal Palace defenders, got the ball into the feet of Estevao Willian. He proceeded to sprint halfway down the length of the pitch in order to get it on goal, smashed it into the goal. Beautiful goal, amazing. And like I say, because we've had this massive focus on possession for such a long time now, I feel like we never allow ourselves to find ourselves in these positions, do you know what I mean, where one of our magical, fast, technical, gifted players can get the ball, sprint halfway the length of the pitch and then bang it in, and that's exactly what happened. Absolute scenes. Estevao Willian opened the scoring for us and kind of set the tempo for the rest of the game. The second goal was courtesy of Joao Pedro, and we need to talk about Joao Pedro, man, because Joao Pedro has now scored 8 goals in the Premier League this season and 4 in his last 5 Premier League matches. So hopefully all of these changes, we're also starting to see the end of that really, really frustrating period where Joao Pedro was just like barely getting involved in games at all. And this was a great goal from Joao Pedro because it was a moment of skill, right? He kind of found himself drifted out to the right, and Enzo Fernandez was open and calling for it, but instead of doing that, Joao Pedro kind of dummied the player, put the foot on his left, low and hard, drilled it in. We're 2-0 up, and well deserved. Joao Pedro had a great game today, man, a really, really great game. game, and that's so promising. I've mentioned this before in a couple of videos about Liam Rosenior. He seems to be quite good with strikers. He's got an amazing tune out of Emmanuel Omega and Joaquin Panicelli over at Strasbourg, and hopefully, although we're not seeing that much from Liam Delap yet, albeit he has looked better, that some of that striker magic that he was achieving over there seems to be rubbing off on our players now, because Joao Pedro looks like a player reborn. That goal was also assisted by Estevao Willian, by the way, so that's a goal and assist for Estevao Willian, another goal for Joao Pedro. Scenes, I love it, I love it. And then for the third goal, it was a bit of a crazy one, really, really long VAR check on a handball claim that actually didn't even happen until a good minute or two after it was kind of proposed as well. Joao Pedro went for a shot, he kicked it, basically it bounced off of a player's hip into his arm. It was deemed as an accidental handball, which is the reason he got a yellow card, but it also was deemed to have obstructed the ball from going into the net, which meant it was a penalty. Enzo Fernandez steps up, he takes it with 3-0, and everything is looking rosy. And then more disaster strikes for Crystal Palace as Adam Wharton picks up his second yellow card of the game and posthumously is sent off, but that did not completely dampen the spirits of Crystal Palace, because they managed to get themselves a goal in the 88th minute, and honestly, it was one of those calamitous defending moments where everyone was kind of in the box and no one really knew what was going on. Robert Sanchez had actually managed to save an initial shot that had gone quite well. Enzo Fernandez was on the floor. No one was really sure what was going on, and it just got headed in. I think it was Richards. I can't remember exactly. One of the Crystal Palace players managed to head it in, and it was a shame because a clean sheet would have been, do you know what I mean, chef's kiss, cherry on the cake kind of situation. But ultimately, it shows that there is still work to do, and those moments of focus and concentration are still where we kind of need to do not where Liam Rosenior needs to do the work to make sure that those sort of silly mistakes aren't happening. So then there was 9 minutes of extra time, and obviously there was 3 goals in the second half, 2 from Chelsea, 1 from Crystal Palace, and a lengthy VAR check on that handball situation. So the 9 minutes of extra time, obviously a load of the subs were on at this point as well. The good thing about that 9 minutes of extra time is after conceding that messy goal, obviously Crystal Palace were like, right, let's go, let's keep going, and the thing is, when they'd obviously scored that goal just before the 90 minutes was up, and then when the guy on the tannoy announced that there was 9 minutes of extra time, you could hear the Crystal Palace fans, they were absolutely loving it. They were like, yes, come on. So Crystal Palace had a lot of fire in that last 10 minutes, really, from when they scored the goal, and it really, they obviously felt that they could maybe still get something out of this game, but fortunately we managed to see it out, and that, albeit a shame we didn't get the clean sheet, that's really, really, really promising that after conceding that goal, we've been in situations before, right? So one of the big worrying stats from Chelsea this season is we've dropped 15 points from winning positions across the season, right? So Enzo Maresca's Chelsea were not good at just, staying in front. And when something happened, even when we were winning, we kind of fell apart a little bit. That didn't happen today. Do you know what I mean? We managed to keep Crystal Palace. And like I say, they were really going for it, man. They were really going for it, but we managed to keep them out for the rest of the game. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to look at the overall, just kind of a quick chat about the stats in the game as well, and just start to see how Liam Rosenior is playing football. So on the left in green, we have Crystal Palace, and on the right, we have Chelsea. Now, we ended up with a lot more possession at 57-43, but at halftime, it was like, I think they were 51% possession and we had 49. So ultimately, what was good about that was Liam Rosenior isn't just prioritising possession for possession's sake, do you know what I mean? And you could kind of see that in the way we played today. It was really good. Expected goals, 2.2 to Crystal Palace's 2.3. So that shows you Rob Sanchez obviously had a really good game, because that's a good expected, to say that the overall score was 3-1, the expected goals are really similar. So we outperformed our expected goals and Crystal Palace underperformed their expected goals. And we can kind of put that down to resolute defending and obviously a really good performance from Robert Sanchez. And again, just kind of backing up that statement, man, 5 big chances apiece, do you know what I mean? So Crystal Palace really not managing to put their chances away. Good defending and goalkeeping from us. We managed to put 3 of those big 5 chances away, and that is another problem that we've had this season, right? Not being able to put those chances away, even when we've looked better in games, not managing to get the ball over the line. Total shots, 10-13. So again, Crystal Palace were rest. A lot of those will have come in that last 10-15 minutes, do you know what I mean? But Crystal Palace, they obviously, Mateta missed a sitter in the opening of the game, and they were kind of just peppering us with shots throughout the game. game, especially at the end. We had 10 shots, so at the end of the day, that's good from us. Do you know what I mean? We weren't dominating in shooting, do you know what I mean? But we still managed to score those 3 goals. Really, really good stuff. Goalkeeper saves, 5-2. Rob Sanchez had a great game. I think that's kind of evident for the world to see at the moment. And he, like I say, apart from that one little scary moment where he nearly ran over or ran outside of the box holding the ball, fortunately he was knocked down by a player. I think it was Jefferson Lerma. But ultimately, coming out, looking confident, claiming crosses and stuff again, and just looking confident. In general, Rob Sanchez still continuing to have a great season. After that one game, I think it was the Arsenal game, wasn't it, where he was a bit all over the place. And, you know, Liam Rosenior seems to have identified really quickly that this is the way we have to play Rob Sanchez if we want to get results, and ultimately is putting his own preferred method of playing aside in order to get the best out of the players that we have right now. Corner kicks 5-4. You know, again, just shows you that attacking wise, it was actually quite an even game. Fouls 10-11, so it, you know, again, quite even in that respect. Both teams were really attacking at each other. Do you know what I mean? You know, the first time we played Crystal Palace, they played a stinky low block at the opening game of the season, and it was horrible. That's not what happened today. They really came for us, and we obviously really went for them as well. Moises Caicedo, a little bit of a worry today. Couple of rash moments in the first half, but he managed to keep a lid on it for the rest. Passes 581 to 429, so we are still prioritising a high passing game. One thing that I really like today that I didn't see us do though is lots of this: get it out to the wing, back to the centre backs, pass it around. We didn't keep hold of it for the sake of it. A lot of the passing was a lot quicker, a lot more direct today, so that was really good. Tackles 16-17 again shows you just how well Crystal Palace played. Free kicks 10-10. Yellow cards 2 for us, 4 for them. I think it was 1 for Moises Caicedo, and Andre Santos picked one up in a weird little kind of moment at the end where Jefferson Lerma ended up getting one, and obviously they got 1 red card and we got 0. So what's really promising about this game is Crystal Palace definitely performed a lot better than they have been recently. They've been getting walked over a little bit for a while since, you know, the Guehi news and the Glasner news and the Mateta news. Obviously, they've been quite unsettled, but for whatever reason today, they decided that today was the day that they were going to try and play more of a classic Glasner game, and they came at us, man. It wasn't even game. It wasn't, you know, this is a game that we are expected to win, do you know what I mean, at the end of the day, but they presented us with something completely different to what they presented us in the opening game of the season with the low block and the defensive stuff. They really came at us today, and they had loads of chances and they were making it difficult for us. But again, we broke through, and counter to the Brentford game and the Paphos game, we looked dangerous today, man. Do you know what I mean? We looked a lot more dangerous than we have done for the last couple of games. So that's it, man. That's it. What a game that was. And I have a couple of final thoughts on the situation. Few really interesting points today. Obviously, Estevao getting his first goal under Rosenior and getting an assist as well, looking like he's starting to, you know, find his way back to the Estevao that we know and love. And hopefully, especially in the absence of Cole Palmer, he can start to really take up that role. Joao Pedro today, 4 goals in 5 Premier League games, a good goal, a tricky goal, and also just played really well throughout the game. Good passing, good link up, kind of everything. He was looking really good today as well. Liam Rosenior, 4 wins in 5 games. That is our best tally, starting from, obviously, since Maresca left, up until before that, it was like the 8th of November or something. So we're looking at like 2 solid months, man. Liam Rosenior has won the same amount of games in just over 2 weeks than Maresca won in 2 months with the team. So I think that's really, really, really important. He is prioritising winning. He is getting the best out of his players. He is not always trying to win pretty. He is not doggedly sticking to his tactical philosophy because he realises that we're in the middle of a season. He hasn't got the time. This will come with time. Now, the Paphos game was a bit of a snooze fest. Brentford, we got really lucky, but ultimately we are beating the teams we are supposed to beat. Yes, Arsenal was disappointing. It's always disappointing to lose against Arsenal, but we got a performance that kept us in the tie. Ultimately, Liam Rosenior smashed Charlton, which you 100% need to expect. We lost against Arsenal. We beat Brentford. We beat Paphos, albeit only by the 1 goal, and we've just battered Crystal Palace 3-1. And we shouldn't really have conceded that last goal either. We should have had a clean sheet, I think, and ultimately that will be something that Liam Rosenior is looking at, those moments of focus where we kind of lose what's going on in the box, do you know what I mean? But I think it's really, really positive today This is momentum. Do you know what I mean? This is what we've been crying out for what feels like forever now. It's just so difficult, man. The thing with Maresca, he was so good at beating big teams, and ultimately, apart from Arsenal, we haven't played any big teams yet. Do you know what I mean? Opposition that we are expected to struggle against, but the problem that Maresca had was beating the teams that we're expected to beat, and thus far, Liam Rosenior has come in and got that result against every single team, albeit not always in the prettiest fashion, but we're winning games again. Going into the Napoli game, we've got 4 wins in 5. Do you know what I mean? That's so good. They are going through a difficult period at the moment. They've only got 1 Champions League win to their name. They've got a 6-pointer against Juventus in Serie A 3 days before that game as well. We are going into this game looking like the better side at the moment. Now, you can't write off Conte, obviously, absolutely phenomenal manager. But as far as the Champions League goes, Conte has failed to get results against teams you would have expected to in the Champions League. And the truth of the fact is, Conte's never had a really good European campaign. Do you know what I mean? So we are set up for this, man. We are set up for this. Going into that, and it's going to be difficult because it's going to be in their backyard, but we are absolutely up for this. And then comes West Ham in the Premier League, which should hopefully, again, be another 3 points. And that could be, what, if we beat Napoli and we beat West Ham, then what are we, 4 in 5 now? That'll make us 6 in 7. That'd be amazing form going into the Arsenal game, and maybe we can get something out of that as well. This one's been a pleasure to make because finally, we're starting to see something, right? We're starting to see something. And that wasn't even like, you know, the best performance we've seen from Chelsea this season. Do you know what I mean? Maresca had some great performances this season. Against Liverpool, we were really, really good. Against Barcelona, we were really, really good. But we're starting to see the team coming back together. The fans were great today as well, just as a little addendum, by the way. The fans were really, really, really good today. You know, at a difficult away ground to go to, and we heard them. They made themselves loud. They make, you know, and it's just one of those. They'd be proud to be a Chelsea fan, man, because Liam Rosenior got a lot of stick. There's a few people on social media that really, really are not happy with this appointment. A couple of YouTubers in particular have kind of been just not willing to give the appointment the time of day. But I'm always kind of the opinion of, let's just see what happens. Thus far, things are looking good and obviously can be built upon. This is the really positive thing, right? 4 wins in 5, and we're not even looking unbelievable yet. We're not looking amazing yet. We're not looking like, you know, we're not dominating all of these games. So really, really impressive from Liam Rosenior. I am 100% up for backing him so far. I think the thing is as well, the other thing that this says, the squad's good enough for a Champions League finish, man. And it really is just starting to show you how responsible Enzo Maresca was for that very bad run of form that we went on. Because Liam Rosenior has got all of the same players that he did, and he's been dealing with injuries. He's been dealing with players being out and being sick and getting that virus and whatever. But you know what he's been doing? He's been making use of the other players that we have in the squad. Joao Pedro getting loads of game time. Jamie Gittins getting more game time. Andre Santos is looking transformative to the team at the moment. It almost looks like Andre Santos is getting that kind of game time that Gusto was getting before. Do you know what I mean? We haven't seen as much from Gusto yet. But albeit he still came on later in the game. But Andre Santos seems to be more key to the way that Rosenior wants to play, which is just something we were calling out for ages, man, especially when we're seeing Maresca finish games with 3 fullbacks in midfield. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely crazy stuff. But ultimately for me, you know, look, are we on for a title challenge? No. Were we ever on for a title challenge this season? I didn't think so. I said so at the start of the season. But when it comes down to it, man, Liam Rosenior has got the squad to get this team into the Champions League. And that is what I thought Maresca could do at the end of the day. So things are looking good. Thank you, guys. I'm just rambling now because I'm excited and I'm happy because I just feel like that was the most fun I've had watching a football match in a little while. Do you know what I mean? So that's cool, man. Nice one, guys. Thanks for sticking around until the end of the video. If you did, I hope you guys have an absolutely wicked day, and I'll catch up with all of you very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.